Yes, hello and welcome to the Any Given Sunday Australia podcast, the only podcast that's still running post Super Bowl, and we're in that little pre-draft stage. Joining me on the brown couch at Charlie Pick. How are you, mate?
I'm scouting. That's what I'm doing.
Yes.
I'm just all scouting reports at the moment. It's funny, like I would say, and this is, I often make observations about the sport of NFL and the experience of being an NFL fan. But one thing that is amazing is, when after the AFL Grand Final, no one thinks or talks about footy for weeks and weeks. But in the NFL, almost the moment your team is out or the moment the Super Bowl is done, there's more work to do.
Yeah.
Like you've actually got more to talk about. And already there's stuff on the agenda that we have to attend to. Every team has needs. Everyone is chasing. It's incredible the way it rolls on, and we've still got plenty to talk about.
It's funny, like you said, as soon as if your team's in it, we're a chance. We're here. We're winning it. As soon as they lose, we're missing this. We're struggling here.
That's right.
Our linebacker room is shit. Like, hang on a minute. A week ago we were
contenders.
We were contenders. Yeah, I thought we were.
It's like if one catch is called a catch, we're having a very. We don't need a wide receiver all of a sudden.
Yeah, if one ACL for us, actually probably two. I reckon two. Tucker Craft was a pretty big loss for us.
That was big. So you're looking to pick up a couple of ACLs in the off season?
Yes, a couple of good maybe just the surgeons. Maybe a couple of good surgeons. Bring him back. Aaron Rodgers' surgeon. He got him back pretty quickly with his Achilles. Send him to Germany. That's what we used to do.
Yeah,
Australia. Send them all to Germany for their ACLs. But I don't know if that's still a thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was that around the Essendon saga? Going to Germany?
Yeah, I think those were more Swiss scientists and maybe some stuff being shipped in from China that no one knew about. But do you know what's interesting? And this is, I have no data to back this up, but I want to find out.
I love.
That's what I love about. But I think about because the Bills have had a lot, like in my experience, consistently a high proportion of injuries compared to other teams over the last few years. And Packers, too, have had some really big injuries. I want to see the stats of the teams in the South. Your Florida teams where it's warmer. And I am very curious to know if you're playing every second game in a warmer climate, you've trained in a warmer climate. Yes, it means that when the snow comes and you're playing up north in divisional games, you invariably struggle in the snow. But I have a suspicion that they have fewer injuries over the season.
This has purely no stats related to it. I like it.
Absolutely not at all. But I tell you what, I'm going to try and figure out if there's a way I can verify this.
Yeah, that's actually a great segue. We don't have it in the doc. We're not going to. But during the week, he hasn't been released yet. But Tua looks like he's on the way out. And Tyreek,
I think he has been released.
Has he officially?
I think mail I'm getting out of Miami is that he's.
I think he's very
definitely
much on the way. But Tyreek's officially gone.
Tyreek is gone.
He's officially gone. Yeah.
No, Tua. Sorry,
Tua's hanging on by the thread.
Tua is just too expensive.
Yes, to release
to get rid. If they cut him now,
can they trade? They'll still have money if they trade him too.
Yeah, they're going to have to eat. They're going to have to eat so much money. But if they cut him now, I think it's something like it's costing them $100 million.
Yeah, I reckon there's a 70-odd million dead cap. Which isn't it? I reckon now that Rodgers has passed his one, he's the biggest dead cap. I'm pretty sure.
I think so,
which is huge. But Tyreek, can you see him? Is this purely off the no research? Do you see him getting? I don't know if he'd be back this year health wise anyway with his knee. Could you see him landing somewhere? 32.
I can see him landing somewhere, but I see him. He's going to be at the trade deadline, I reckon. Someone will pick him up.
All purely on he dislocated and fucked his knee completely.
It did not look good.
No.
But he is
bending
still
away. It shouldn't be bending.
Yeah, I think he is such a talent. Obviously, like he's got off-field issues. Like there's always noise around him. There's stuff you have to manage. But provided he can still move, he might not be that boundary like speed demon. Like that's a big ask at his age coming back from that injury. But he could be an insanely good slot receiver. He could be.
He's got good hands.
Yeah, great hands and
real Julian Edelman kind.
That's exactly
real short, stocky.
That's right. And I think for the right team, there could be a team that is in contention around the trade deadline that perhaps are ahead of schedule, and adding a Tyreek Hill could be a really good move. A little bit like OBJ at the Rams, like really helping them get over the top, even though he did his knee in the Super Bowl game, but he was playing at an MVP level until he did his knee in that Super Bowl game.
Yeah.
He could be that kind of piece that a team needs. I think that's highly possible. There are a lot of actually receivers on the market, a lot of free agents, a lot of people that you could get traded. I think there are teams that probably want to need some draft capital that'll be shifting receivers, but I don't think he'll go before the season starts. But mid-season, if he has some good tape of him running, I think someone will definitely pick him up.
Yeah, this is purely on how he recovers from his injury. I don't know. It didn't look good. I can't see him getting on the park this year, but it might be let's pick him up and give him, another 9 months and we'll be right next year kind of thing. And probably go on the Chiefs. Let's be real.
There is, I reckon, every chance he does end up.
But the Chiefs seem this year that everyone's going to the Chiefs. Every person you hear, the Chiefs are interested. You just, I reckon they're just throwing out shit against the wall, and we'll see what happens. Anyway. It's
interesting though, from the Chiefs' point of view. We've got things on the agenda to get into.
Yeah.
But from the Chiefs' point of view, I'm sure they'd rather be having people talk about, everyone's coming to the Chiefs, as opposed to what shape is Mahomes in?
Yeah.
Is Mahomes going to? Is this a dead year for? Is this a dead year for the Chiefs? Because Mahomes is still playing back in physically being capable to do it. Because it wasn't an early season injury.
No.
It was late in the season.
I have heard he's on track, though, because he got the next day he had surgery.
Yeah.
It was huge. So I'm going, I know you're not a punting man, but I would be definitely looking at unders for his rushing yards and overs for his passing yards, because he's becoming a pocket passer next year. If he's not already, he's not moving. He's just standing and delivering. Could have a 5,000-yard season from Mahomes. Peyton Manning-esque.
Entirely possible. At the same time, if you are playing the Chiefs, if you take away his legs, he does become easier. That little bit easier to play. And it depends what their receiver core is. They've got some issues at receiver.
Is he still going? God, all these questions that are not on our doc.
I know. Tell you what, next week let's do a Chiefs deep dive. We should find a someone from the Chiefs to talk to next week, and figure out what is going on there.
A few people, coaches maybe. So there we go. All right, let's get into what we are supposed to talk about. And this week it's official now. The Seahawks, the Super Bowl 60 champions, are officially up for sale. And how much do you have in your back pocket, and how much between these couch? They reckon, was it 6.5 or 05 million the last sale? And they reckon B. Higher.
It has to be higher. They've got to be.
They're never going under.
They've got to be 8-10 billion now. Their brand is worth so much more, having won the Super Bowl, and they're in a division that gets a lot of attention. Like there's actually a lot to that story that is good. They've been consistently good for a long time. They've had some off seasons, but they are a well-run organisation. How much that has to do with ownership? Does a new owner come in and think that they know how to do it better and fuck the whole thing up? We've seen that happen so many times before. But they are a strong brand in a strong division that's going to, like, Niners, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals. I mean, Cardinals, they've got some, a patchy year or two ahead. But you've got
They're still very marketable, though.
Very marketable, and they still have some games where they play really well. They have an incredible ability to lose some close games. But those top three teams, they're always going to be high-rating games. They're always going to be going in, like, nudging for playoffs, and if not winning Super Bowls. Like, they're all contenders. And that just adds value to the Seahawks as well. Yeah. They've got a quarterback, that they can lock in a quarterback long term and go, this is our franchise quarterback. He took us to a Super Bowl. We've got a star wide receiver that will keep paying until the end of time. And they've got a defense that has a brand that's exciting. There's a lot going on there that makes them a very, attractive proposition. And I kind of think, in the same way that you've got the sort of the Bezos tech money in Washington. I think you've got this, there's so much tech on the West Coast. There's some big tech money over there, like Microsoft AI. So, someone in that space will absolutely go all in and buy Seahawks.
That kind of money getting into the game. So, we've seen it with the streaming side of things. They're trying to build it and they want that. So there's yeah, I could see something definitely.
Unfortunately, at this stage, I don't think the AGS podcast is in a position to make an offer.
You sure?
You said, what have we got down the back of the couch?
I
And
got a few,
it made
isn't
me
it?
think that
That'd be
this
fun.
couch came free with the studio when we rented it. So we didn't even buy the couch. Right?
Did this one though? This one might.
That one also came with the studio.
Perfect.
We got lucky.
All right. Yeah, found $1 billion. We're still $7 billion short.
Yeah, that's right.
They have struck gold at the right time. You know, whether because I was doing a little bit of research about this, probably not enough to be commenting on it. They were bought in '97. You know, so what's that? 30 odd years, coming up to 30 years now. But the owner that bought it, again, his name escapes me, which is perfect. He passed away not long ago, so it's either his daughter or his wife that's currently running the side. Obviously, he has no want for it anymore, so that's why it's not I don't want the team anymore. This was my husband's team, and I'm now moving on, or my dad's team, and I'm moving on from it. So, but perfect timing. That team's just won the Super Bowl, and it's time to get out. So
It's amazing. Although, you know, it's so funny. It's like an owner with a hands-off attitude and the team does great.
and it does really well.
Yeah.
Dallas should maybe look down this path. They never will. It's going to be, but this is going to be long. It's not going to be done in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
It's got to go.
I remember the Broncos sale took a long time.
It'll be the whole off season.
Yeah, and and maybe longer. Yeah, and the Commanders sale took a long time as well.
Because it's got to go to the owners' meeting. They have to sign off on it and actually say that this is because if they come in as $14 billion, like half the teams will want to start to sell because that's some serious coin.
Yeah, it's
Packers will never sell. Don't worry about that.
well, that's right. They'll just keep printing little share certificates for people to buy.
And I'll keep buying
for
them.
tourists. Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, no, it is exciting, and I just hope that because the Seahawks now have a pretty big presence in Australia. Hopefully that continues. I can't see it not continuing because they just want to keep growing worldwide, but hopefully it continues in
Well,
Australia.
they've got the best punter in the game, and
Yes,
you know, and so there's every reason for Australia to be enthusiastic about the Seahawks.
Yep, 100%. All right, there is actually that leads into the next one as well. Franchise tag has just opened. Teams can now do it for the next month or so. I think it is. And there's 7 players I want to put to you whether teams should or should not franchise tag them, and just get your off the top of your head whether you think they should. First one, we go to Dallas. George Pickens.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they should. I think they will. I think the Cowboys have a track record of actually overpaying talent that they like to
Franchise
keep there.
tag is overpaying. That's the whole point of it.
Generally, it is overpaying, and it always seems to me that like it's we just couldn't get our shit together, but we don't want you to go anywhere. Pickens, he found a good landing spot, and that offense was exciting when he was a part of it, and it made CeeDee Lamb's life easier. CeeDee Lamb made Pickens' life easier. He had, did he have was it a 1,000-yard season, or it was close to?
It'd be. I reckon it would have.
Yeah, 1,000-yard season for a guy who was coming out of the Steelers looking like a problem. He's reinvigorated his career. I actually think he's relatively good value at the wide receiver tag, which I think is around 25 something.
Yeah, it'd be
million,
25
around
to 30. Yeah.
and I think he is pretty good value there. It's interesting because the Bills are in the market for a receiver, and Pickens is sort of one.
If he goes there, is he? I don't know if he's a number 1. I think he likes the number 2 spot because then the heat's off him, as we've seen.
I think for Pickens, it makes sense to stay, and a tag is good, and I think the Cowboys will do it. I think there will be teams that waste a lot of time going after Pickens and won't get anywhere near him.
Yeah,
But yeah.
Jerry Jones doesn't deal with others. Daniel Jones at the Colts.
See, Daniel Jones to me is a very interesting question because I think the Colts are going to have to make a decision between Daniel Jones and Pierce, their wide receiver, as to who they tag. Because there's a huge market for Pierce. A lot of people want Pierce. There's not a huge market for Daniel Jones. Injured. But at the same time, do they believe they've found their quarterback? And they believe that if he comes back healthy, you know, maybe a franchise tag is a way for them to just buy one more season to be absolutely sure of it before they offer him a more long-term contract. But I think they're going to have to make the call.
But if you're franchising Jones, do you just go to sign Pierce?
Well, that's it. That would be the other
Lose
option.
both of them.
Yeah. But if they're going to sign Pierce, all of a sudden Pierce is on the market and people will be competing for the opportunity to sign him. So that's going to drive Pierce's price up.
Get it done early. She, Ursay, young female Ursay, who's not, I don't know if she's off. She's had her earbuds in listening to this. So I don't know if she's hands off, but she's definitely been a breath of fresh air there, getting involved and wanting to know what's going on. I wonder how, I wouldn't say she's Jerry Jones, but I reckon she's pretty hands in there.
Yeah, I think she seems to me a generational change, obviously, at the Colts, but I think the perfect level of involvement of an owner. I think it is a mistake for owners who don't have a granular knowledge of what's going on inside the building, will then shoot their mouth off in press conferences and get themselves into trouble.
Or just throw money at the problem.
And overspend on things they don't need. Russell Wilson at the Broncos. What's his name? Watson at the Browns. Terrible decisions like that are made by owners that don't have their head around things. But the Ursay heiress, I think, understands what's going on. You get absolutely no sense that she was interfering, that she was telling coaches what to do. But great to see her on the sideline knowing what was going on. She will be involved. She will probably have firm views about it. But I think there's a chance they tag Daniel Jones, and the reason I think is
they want Pierce.
Well, yeah, they want a long-term contract for Pierce, but also I think what are their other options at quarterback?
Yeah.
You know, like I think there's every chance they try and shift Richardson at some point. Richardson is
not the answer.
Not the answer. Definitely a bust. And also, as a backup, he doesn't even play us anywhere near a similar style to what Daniel Jones is playing. He doesn't have the passing acumen that Danny Dimes has. And so or Indiana Jones, sorry, is definitely the better nickname there. So I think it's likely that they keep him because who else are you going to get? Like I think the quarterback. I'm glad that I'm not a team with the first pick in the draft obliged to get Mendoza as a quarterback because I think he's a middling quarterback. I don't think he's going to prove to be one of the greats. And you need to have a top 8 quarterback to contend. We all know that.
We've seen that with his stats through college. You know, I know he won the Heisman, but he was half the stats of Joey B.
Yeah, that's right.
Who was able to step in and change a franchise
yeah.
fortunes. But, yeah, that's because he was elite where, you know, you're winning the Heisman Trophy with literally half the stats. Shows that she was not quite the year for quarterbacks. All right, we've spoken about Danny Jones. This one's a bit more poignant coming off a Super Bowl. Kenneth Walker,
I mean, who was, like, he was a superstar, particularly with Charbonnet. You know, once Charbonnet was injured and he could really get in there and show what he could do, he did incredibly well. He starred in the Super Bowl. He starred throughout the playoffs. He was a difference maker, and he plays like his hair is on fire. Like he's a mean machine. He has done himself wonders on the market as a running back. And, you know, it's funny, of all the positions, I feel like the running back franchise tag is the most interesting. It's the price point is the most fascinating because you've had some people like Barkley and McCaffrey push it up, but the franchise tag is $14 million. $14 million is what the Bills paid for James Cook this year. Actually, they ended up lower than it actually worked out to about 12, 13 million, right? For James Cook. That's your market, right? That he was the best running back for the season.
It's been that for a few years now.
For a few years. I think Kenneth Walker is value at $14 million. I think you get $14 million worth of value out of Kenneth Walker. I think there's a chance if you try and do a deal, it maybe nudges up higher than that because you're now a Super Bowl winning running back. That's a different
MVP.
And an MVP, that is a different story altogether.
Yeah. And I reckon that the running back market, which is what we had that problem the last few years where I think owners and franchises still think you get 2 or 3 really productive years and then you can get value by going back to the draft. So they don't want to give those 5-6 year contracts to a running back because Derrick Henry seems to be the only one of late that can consistently just bang, bang, bang without injuries, touch wood. Yeah,
I
so
think
do you franchise and then realistically you're probably looking at moving him on kind of thing?
that's entirely possible, and it wouldn't be the worst. It wouldn't be the worst idea, particularly as a franchise. They've got they've got some work to do with their roster, but they are running it back in a lot of ways. Like they don't have to do enormous changes to what they're doing.
They're all showing up straight as they are.
Yeah, they're in a very good position. I think that would make sense. It's interesting that Derrick Henry is the exception that proves the rule, because he is consistently good every year, whereas everyone else seems to have an on-year, off-year with the running backs.
Or injured.
Injured.
McCaffrey, elite, injured, elite.
Yeah.
Looking for injured next year, unfortunately.
But you would say that, Jonathan Taylor at the Colts is an interesting one as well. Like, he had a pretty incredible season, and he's paid well by the Colts have paid him, and I think they would be happy with that deal. The Bills with James Cook, I think a lot of people are surprised at the fact that he went from what was planned to be a bit of a gadget pass-catching running back to 300 snaps a year, elite running back is quite an incredible transformation there. But there's definite value, and I think the attitude towards paying running backs is going to change a little bit over time, because who are the teams that are actually contenders? They're the teams that...
Well, we saw it with Cook yourself. Like, when Cook got 100 yards, you won. Like,
that's it. And if you're sorting out your receiver room, or your quarterback is a second, third year quarterback who's still mastering the game, but you've got a running back getting you 100, 150 yards a game, and whoever you're playing has to sell out to stop the run.
yeah.
Teams need it. Seahawks, great run game, great results. The teams with solid running games are the ones that are going to tend. You have to be multidimensional, and I think teams are going to figure that out.
And the Colts showed at the start of the year, elite running game, 8-0, fell away. So did their results. Speaking of stopping the run game, this is a bit of a different one, which is I like. Adofe Owe from the Chargers, the linebacker at the Chargers. They are defense heavy, defense strong, but you start to lose a couple of gadgets, and obviously that defense starts. It's the old adage of you're only as strong as your weakest link kind of thing. So I reckon if they start to lose a couple of these gadgets, they're going to start to drop off. And Super Bowl in LA, I reckon they want to become the second LA team to win in LA.
I think they absolutely do. I think
everyone wants to.
They've got a challenge. I think it will be a mildly uphill battle, although that AFC West could be really interesting for them next year. I don't anticipate the Broncos being quite as elite next year as they were this year. I think they had a bit of a charmed run and got a bit found out. And I think the Chiefs, as we've already said, we don't know. So maybe there is that opportunity there for the Chargers too. This could be the year that they make a shot.
Raiders, you never know.
Raiders, you never know. We'll talk a little bit later about teams that go from the bottom to the top, and whether or not the Raiders can do that. But I think looking at Odafe Uwe, the difficult thing is linebacker is expensive. It is a very expensive position to franchise tag, because there are lots of.
Do we have the number?
I'm gonna fact check it. I just remember, because there's a weird anomaly that with linebacker, you've got other defensive back positions that get factored in, lumped in together. So I'm just going to look up linebacker franchise tag price. He said typing. Yeah. It's estimated 2026 linebacker franchise tag projected $28.2 million. That is an expensive. See, who knows ball?
Yeah.
So that's expensive.
Yeah.
And you would have to say you could possibly pick up an Odafe Uwe level linebacker cheaper than $28 million. He is an asset.
I reckon you could sign him cheaper.
Yeah, you would do a deal rather than franchise tag.
Yeah.
But people will want him.
Yeah. So you'd let him walk before you franchise him?
Yeah, I think so. I just don't think $28 million is a sensible amount to spend on it. You can go and get, you could actually get two good linebackers for $30 million.
Yeah.
Like if you looked in the right places and found some some value talent,
And
you could absolutely do
Harbaugh's
that.
good enough coach to, a bit like the 49ers, work with something of lesser, but bring out the
best.
more. Yeah, that's
Exactly right.
yeah.
And you'd
He's
like
that
to see
defensive mind.
like to see more of that at the Chargers this season. And like I think I heard some talk that Tremaine Edmonds who's a pretty expensive linebacker at the Bears. There's a thought that the Bears are going to have to free up some cap space, and it could be that Edmonds is someone that they can move on to do that. And so there's linebackers out there that are going to be good, and I actually think an Edmonds would slot in quite well in the way the Chargers run their scheme.
Yeah, so that's a no.
That's
the first no.
Not tagging.
Nice. A couple more. We're spending a lot of time, so we'll try and be a bit quicker. Trey Hendrickson. This is an interesting one. I think did he get franchised last year, and that's why he's up again, or did they just do a 1-year deal? Because he sat out a lot of the preseason, and then came back injury-prone season. I think he only up with 6 or 7 sacks for the season. So an interesting one, but another one that'll be very, very expensive if they want to franchise tag him. If it's a second-year franchise, it goes up again.
Yes, I'm just looking to see if he was tagged last year.
Or was it? They wouldn't have done a 1-year deal.
No. Or did he still have?
No, I don't think.
No. He had 1 year left on his deal, and he was sitting out because he wanted to be moved on.
Yeah.
So he was sitting out to move on, like he was done. So it's bordering on imprisonment to franchise tag him and keep him there. He doesn't want to be there. He is jack of that organisation. I think the injuries don't help him on the market. Obviously,
Yeah, that's where you're not going to get as much.
And
So would you? Because it's going to be, again, we've got it. It's over 25. It'll be probably closer to 30 for him.
yeah, it's.
Again, taking in the
I
different-
wouldn't do it, but it's because as an organisation, I believe that fundamentally the Bengals have made a mistake overpaying Higgins,
On the
and I think
offensive
that causes all the problem. They paid Burrow the most in the league for a quarterback at the time. They then paid Jamar Chase the most for a wide receiver in the history of football, and then they paid T. Higgins the most for a wide receiver too in football. They've overpaid. They don't have the space, and their defense is a basket case. And they have to solve it they're going to have to solve it with drafting well, and they're going to have to find value. I don't think they can spend that money. And I think Trey Hendrickson, also let the man be free.
Fresh start. We might have to hit up Tiff, our resident Bengals, and see what she thinks about this. Cole Pitts, this is another interesting one. Had a breakout game, which covered nearly half of his stats for the season in one game.
Yeah.
He's gone. He started off on fire rookie season. Really kind of pitter-patted his way through the next 3 or 4. What do you reckon?
I actually think it's likely they will. I think it's likely he'll get tagged. I'm not sure it's a great idea. He has had injury concerns. He's a little bit accident prone, and I don't think you've seen that consistent season that justifies tagging
Not
him.
since year one.
And also he's not a complete tight end. He's a big wide receiver.
Yeah,
Masquerading
he's
as
not
a
blocking.
tight end.
He's not a
He
blocking
doesn't
tight
block, and there are tight ends who have that skill set that are more I think represent better value. That said, I think they will tag him because I still think they are a bit committed to him. He was a first round pick, I think, for them.
It was like 4 or 5. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
It was pretty high,
and I think they still believe in him.
Well, he showed what he can do, but
That's right.
It's just a flash in the pan of what.
But it's also you've got a new regime coming in, so it'll be interesting to see how they think he fits in, and it could be that they know exactly how to unlock him and they'll want to do it. But I don't think it's a good idea.
You think they will?
But I think they will.
Larky last. Breece Hall, another interesting one. Dominates rookie season, couple of injuries, dominates again, injuries, playing at a terrible franchise at the moment. I'd imagine he wants out, but what are they going to do for him? This is, again, 14 million for a running back,
Yeah, I imagine he wants out.
which I think is pretty good for him.
I think
He'd be
14
worth
million is value for Breece Hall. For For someone who did an ACL in their rookie season, came back and like he was still. I was amazed at how good he was coming back from the injury, and I still think he is a terrifying running back prospect. He's still very young, and I think he's outstanding. I think they're crazy if they don't. If they can't get a deal, they should tag him because they have to be smart.
Else.
That's right. They have to be smart. And who's their amazing wide receiver? Wilson. They're the two pieces.
Who's again been talks for him wanting out.
Lots of talks about. And you can understand him wanting out because he's the kind of guy who should be. He's thinking about the Hall of Fame. He is that good, and that's not going to happen at the Jets. It doesn't matter what.
And his mate Sources, obviously, they both signed together. They both got drafted together. Both got Rookie of the Year together.
Yeah.
Sources obviously gone. They they gained the farm for Source, so they've got a couple of round ones. So whether they can work with that, but you said it before, if you've got a decent running back with a young, you got obviously an elite wide receiver, elite running back, and a quarterback that's learning the game, you can make that work. But I don't know if the fans will be happy to say we've got another season of rebuilding. It's 54 in a row now, I'm pretty sure. So.
Yeah, but they are, and they're in no better position now than they were this time last year. It has to be said.
Probably worse
because now you've got a coach who's
they
under pressure.
thought they had a quarterback with Fields and things like that who didn't quite work out. And interesting. That kind of leads. So yes or no?
I think they should, and I think they will.
Yeah, that leads into our next question for you: is teams that have gone from worst to first. Jets are in that spot of being worst. Can they go to first? Last year we had the Bears with the NFC North and the Patriots. They obviously went from 3 and 14 to the opposite around, 14 and 3 or something like that. Do you think, so there's obviously 8 teams that can do it. I will go through a couple with you off my phone just to make sure we have the right teams, but there's a couple off the top of your head that I know you think there are a chance.
Yeah, there's a few I think are a chance. Let's do the Jets first, though. They are not going from worst to first. They are not going to be better than the Bills or the Patriots. However, they can go from worst to second worst. I think the Dolphins are going to be awful next year. They are in trouble. So it could be that there is a little bit of hope out of the Jets that they get up out of the basement to the ground floor. I'll say that.
Cleveland? If you don't think, just give me a no.
No. They can't go to the best.
I don't see them
but I
getting
like
better
the
than
fact
Cincinnati, Baltimore, or Pittsburgh. Either.
No, but I do like the fact that I'm positive about the fact that I think they'll give Sanders a good go at quarterback and see how it goes. And I like that as a story.
Tennessee
are my favourite to go from worst to first. Because
good head coach,
good head coach. So you've got Saleh as head coach, you've got Gus Bradley as DC, and Brian Daboll as OC. And the thing about that is
rookie QB.
They've got a rookie QB that they know is good. Mm-hmm. He's mobile. He's got an arm like a cannon. Daboll has done this with Josh Allen before. I'm not putting the pressure on saying he's the next Josh Allen, but Daboll knows how to do that. And also Saleh is a great defensive coach. He is a good culture setter.
Yeah, absolutely.
In an organization that can back him and support him. I think that's a nice setup. I think they've got the potential to do it.
Tennessee is a better place than New York for a coach. New York, you're going to get in there and there is eyeballs on you. You can't walk down the street. Or I reckon in Tennessee, you can walk down the street and you'll be all right.
Yeah. You put on a cowboy hat, people start thinking you're someone.
You'll be going to a bar, you start playing tunes. Vegas?
No. I don't think they're going to, but I think they could be interesting.
Giants?
The Giants will not. No, I don't think they will. It's going to be a very interesting year at the Giants. The one story there is, what can Harbaugh do? And there's been a lot of articles, like he's feeding the media. Speaking about landing in New York, he's feeding the media about stories about he's in the gym at 4 a.m. Like he's in the office before everyone else. He's trying to tell a narrative that he is not, like a Pete Carroll sort of stopgap coach that they brought in. He wants to prove that he can do it from the ground up again. He's super motivated. I think he will change what the Giants are about. I still don't think that's a division that they can go to the top of.
Yeah, they're Washington can turn it around. Dallas could turn it around, and Phillies. I can't see them getting better than that.
Although I tip Philly to not have a great season coming up.
Cardinals.
Cardinals will not do it. Just the division's too hard, and they've got some massive questions. They've got a big question about whether or not they trade Kyler, and I think there's a big question there. I think there are teams that would take Kyler. I think he could present value for some people. They're going to have to eat some money because they overpaid him badly. But there's just too much yet to be done in Arizona.
He just takes COD coins or something, doesn't he?
That's
yeah, played on the PlayStation. Interesting one, the Lions.
Yeah, the Lions to me are the team that were on the bottom that are not a bottom team.
A 9-8 bottom side.
9-8 bottom side. That is an extremely competitive division. There is every chance the Lions win out and are on top of that division. That's just the nature of how competitive and how good that division is. It's one of the best divisions in football. And the Lions are a good enough team. But I still don't think they have the plan for the post-Aaron Glenn era.
We say how big OCDCs can be. When you lose them, it's even bigger. So
And you saw that.
My favourite to go from worst to first is the Saints.
So who's quarterbacking the Saints to take them worst to first?
Tyler Shao.
And you think he's got it? You think the kid can play the guitar?
I think it's a two-pronged attack of I think he is good. They finished 6-11 after they were a basket case early, sold the farm, able to win a lot of games and stay in a lot of games lately, and they're also in the NFC South.
Where anything can happen and always does.
They could go 6-11 and win the division. So that's my two-pronged attack is, yes, I do believe they started to turn around late. They were the best out of that division the last 6 games. I think they won 5. They went 5-1.
That's a really good point. That is a good point.
And it's the NFC South. So they're my favourites.
So
that's probably more of it, that they're in the NFC South.
So this feels like a burger bet. How about we do a burger bet? Who does better? And we either go
in their division
record or division.
You have to go record.
Let's go record. Who does better? Who has a better record? I'll go Titans.
I'll go Saints.
You go Saints. I do think Saints are starting from a better. They're starting from a better base than the Titans.
Yeah,
but it's going to get interesting.
Yeah, good head coach though at the Titans though. So I like that whole setup they got there. It's going to be hopefully. I don't know. Hopefully they play each other even better.
That would be beautiful.
That would be delightful. All right, last couple of questions. Quick one. Mike Evans is coming back, confirmed coming back for the 2026 season. Not necessarily at the Bucks. I think he does go to the Bucks. I think he stays at the Bucks. You know, he's always been at the Bucks, and I think he sees what Baker could do and what they could do, and without injuries to Godwin and people like that, and Booker coming up, they could be something serious, very serious. I think he stays, but if he doesn't, where else could he land? Because there has been some talks of him leaving, which I was completely surprised about.
There's talk of him leaving. It is Tampa Bay like hanging on to their people. They like paying people and hanging on to them. They like lifelong players. And this is a guy, almost certainly headed for the Hall of Fame as well. Like he's had an incredible career. I think there's a chance that the Bills would be interested if they could get a deal done. It depends what they'd have to give up for him. But because he's older, it might be that you can get some value. It might be a day 2, day 3 pick that you can get him for. And
he's a 1,000-yard receiver. He was nearly 1,000-yard off the back of 7 games this year.
That's right. Isn't it 11 straight seasons of 1,000 yards?
He missed this year, but
with injury. Yeah. So he's elite, and there is still value there, and he could be. I would say the Bills are quite a good chance, and if they got him at a decent price, then they then focus on just someone fast like a Concepcion in the first round, like just a speed demon that they need
to break the field.
And Evans would be a great piece that actually makes their running back room make sense. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to think. I mean, Chiefs. Well, Chiefs are a chance because the Chiefs are shopping.
Your narrative though. I think the Bills are in the same as the Chiefs, that everyone's going to the Bills, or the Bills are interested in everyone. But you've kind of sold me on the Chiefs selling the narrative that everyone wants to go there just to quieten the Patrick Mahomes talk.
Yeah,
because I heard the Chiefs as well. So
yeah, but I do think they're probably the two most likely.
Yeah, he wants to go to a contender. He's not going in his, year 12?
Yeah, he's absolutely not going to go anywhere that's not in
he's not
contention.
going to the Jets.
But
Maybe
also
the Saints.
It could be the Saints. But the Bills and the Chiefs are interesting as contenders for different reasons. You've got a complete regime change at the Bills. There's a chance that it's still settling, and they maybe the Bills are a 10-win team, not a 13-win team this year.
I think a lot of people still believe in Josh Allen to win the game off the back.
Yeah, and also what you've got, his OC is now the head coach, so the offense should be humming.
Yeah. But we've seen still that those changes, OC coming in, new OC, is obviously going to have some say.
Absolutely.
Has he still got the same quarterback coach?
I think a new quarterback.
Oh, see, I'll get worried when there's wholesale changes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And the Chiefs, you don't know what Mahomes you're going to get. You don't know if Kelsey's going to be there, and you don't know who they're hanging on to. I mean, to be honest, there's a lot of talk about Tyquan Thornton going to the Bills because he's a $5 million, $6 million receiver, and we saw when the Chiefs were missing Rashee Rice and Worthy was out, Tyquan Thornton was explosive and had great. Good hands down the field. He's real value. So they're two teams, I would say, that could be playing off in the AFC or could be wildcard teams or could not even make it. We don't really know. But I think Evans, he wants to play with it has to be a quarterback at least as good as Baker Mayfield or he's not going to go anywhere.
He wants to throw it around. Or a warm weather team because they get injured less down there.
That's right.
Stats. Last one, and it kind of brings home for you being an Essendon boy. We're going to bring it back to Australia. Essendon have released their Anzac Guernsey.
Yeah.
Stuck between the two of them.
Yeah.
And it's elite. It's a real good setup. I don't know if you haven't seen it. Go check it out. It is a very, probably the best thing to come out of Essendon for 20 years.
Absolutely.
25 years.
Yeah.
So I posed the question to you, who had the best jersey this year out of our teams, out of every team, actually?
It's interesting. I'm biased towards one, but I will say I thought the Seahawks had a great alternate. I thought they looked really cool. Miami had a dark one that looked really
That's my
good.
honourable mention is the Miami dark,
but
which was at the Rivalries jersey, I think.
Yeah, it was the Rivalries.
I like the Rivalries setup.
The Rivalries were great jerseys all season, but my favourite was the Bills for their last game at the Rich. They went retro with red helmets, old school jerseys, and red socks, and every single Bills fan
red with old school blue.
Yeah, and nice. Every fan, without exception, was like, "That should be us every game. We have to go back to that. It's the best. The red helmets are the best.
Yeah, really makes
so the whole package was really great. So that to me, and it was it was also for the last game at the Rich Stadium. It was really quite. It was beautiful. It was a thing to behold. I'm obviously utterly biased, but I don't think anything topped it for the season.
Biased? Never. Nah. I do actually like, and they'll never allow it, but if we could have that red visor in there as well, that'd be so good. My honourable mention is Miami. I really like their dark uniform. Packers are always delightful. But mine was actually a game. The entire game. It was the Seahawks throwback jersey. Versus the Tampa Bay Creamsicles. I love a creamsicle with the Tampa Bay. So that jersey game was my
that was wild.
And it was a great game.
Great game, but the green popped like it was good. And it's funny. I understand that they limit the special jerseys to keep it special.
Yeah.
I get it. But God, it's good. Throwback jerseys, rivalry jerseys.
We went through those colour rush seasons for a few years ago. But
it's good.
And I think we missed out in the Super Bowl. We could have had the throwback jersey for Seahawks versus the red or even the blue of the Patriots. It would have been...
The old school Patriots red would have been great.
Would have been great. Great matchup. The one we deserved, but we didn't get.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Like the game.
The one we had. Mate. We've managed to eke out quite a... I didn't think we'd get this much.
Well, like I said at the top, there's plenty to talk about.
There is still plenty to talk about, so we'll cut it there. We'll be back next week. Hopefully Danny is back from his sabbatical. He's off... Mate, he said, you've said the Eagles are going to have a struggle of a year. He's out there looking through, cutting out players and plays and working out what he needs to bring in for the Eagles, so he couldn't make it in today.
I don't think AJ Brown is back.
I have heard from a lot of people that he's gone.
And, you know, he's like the Bills are definitely looking around there. I think there's massive questions over Sirianni as a coach. I think he is, for a guy that won a Super Bowl, 13 months ago, he's on a hot seat. And I'm not. And the other part of this, and this is like cliffhanger, when we get Danny back, we'll talk about this. We should just grill him about this.
We will.
I am not convinced about Jalen Hurts.
Oof.
I don't actually think he has shown the improvement that you expect for the money that he got. You compare him to quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, who are mobile quarterbacks who are paid the bag like Hurts is. They have each improved weaknesses in their game. They've gotten better year on year, and I do not see it.
And the only reason that he will know that we're going to come at him is if he listens to the end of the podcast.
That's right.
So if he doesn't, he won't know that this is coming. But
And Danny, if you're listening, like and subscribe.
yeah, well, that's what I was about to say. Make sure, especially on YouTube and Spotify, Apple, put it in there, like, subscribe, because it goes up in your feed and it obviously helps us get out there and reach. And we're only getting bigger leading into Melbourne games, so we want to help this grow as far as we can. So,
Amen.
mate, go football.
Go football.